What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming. I am your host, Andrew. Today is Tuesday, August 17th, and I have two co-hosts with me today. One, I have Alpha Stoutland.
What's up, guys?
And I have Nint Ice 2000.
Once again, I am here.
So, Alpha, you have not been on the show in quite some time.
Yeah.
We missed you.
I missed you guys too, man.
Admittedly, episodes have been sparse on my end anyway, so you haven't missed too much, but we had a couple of episodes in there that were way too long, so we're gonna be trying to keep it like an hour. So, let's start off with what we've been up to, and since you haven't been on in a while, what have you been up to, Alpha?
Life stuff. I've just between traveling to meet family, I have gotten to see my niece Lena quite a bit, so obviously have to get some sugar as Uncle Chris, and I've just doing housework and just trying to
sugar Uncle Chris.
Okay. And I am currently trying to rearrange my room. I just got a brand new shelf and I'm using that as a display shelf, so I'm trying to get all my pops and my plushes and all that stuff just kind of organized and rearranged so I have a nice background for when I record and stuff. And so just trying to pretty it up because I am recording from the house more now. So I'm just trying to make it look nicer. And I just recently visited GalaxyCon in Raleigh, and that was awesome. Had a good time. I actually have a vlog up on my channel if you guys want to go check that out. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I watched it already.
Yeah. I hope you guys like it.
I didn't even know it was up.
I just uploaded it this morning. But I hadn't really gamed much lately. I've just the minor dailies in Animal Crossing. I'll check and see if Flick, CJ, or Red and Sahara are there. Talk to them, and I really haven't done much gaming. I don't know. I haven't really had much of a desire to game as of late. So hopefully I'll be redirecting my energy and time into drawing and stuff like that, and video editing and stuff. I do have stuff I want to record.
The heck is that?
Like me doing a raspberry when he said drawing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I just there's just not enough hours in the day, and just, working a full-time job and getting home and having to do housework and stuff, it's harder and harder to fit time in to do editing and recording and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It is getting tougher and tougher I really have to pick and choose what I do with my time. But, happy to be here tonight and just trying to schedule things and balance things out so that I have time for all of my hobbies and interests, and that includes the podcast. So I do apologize for my absence as of late here and on my YouTube channel, but I am just trying to do stuff behind the scenes away from YouTube, and also just trying to be an adult, I guess is the right word. But yeah, it's just there's a lot going on, a lot of good stuff, but just, adult stuff. Obviously, life, job, etc. So stuff that guys don't really care to hear about online, but we all have to do it. So it's just it's tougher and tougher to get time to sit down and record and edit, which does often take multiple hours of editing time. So it's just, sometimes I get started, and by the time I can sit down and edit, it's like 10 o'clock, and I have to get up early in the morning to go to work. So it's like, do I really want to sit here and edit for an hour? So yeah, but yeah, that. It's good to be back. So TLDR, I've been busy. So
well, so you haven't really been playing too much games then?
I have not, besides Animal Crossing. I mean, and even that's been very sparse. Like, oh, hey, so-and-so's here. Oh, so-and-so's not here. I won't worry about it today. So I did a poll on my channel about whether they would want me to play new Pokemon Snap as a stream. I honestly just don't see myself streaming much. And so I would rather just go ahead and play it, because now I'm 6 months out of the release date almost. And it's like, would people really watch it? And it's kind of late to the game. The way the internet is, you really have to jump on the ball for trends and new games and stuff just to stay relevant. And so it's just like, why not just enjoy the game? So I'm probably going to play it on my own time, but I do still plan to do some minor streaming stuff when I get.
I don't know. I think it also depends on who you
Well, there was that new update that came out earlier this month. I'm not even done with it yet. Well, that's because of a certain other game that I've been playing. But.
But
yeah, there's several games that I just want to get into playing, but again, time restraints, but that's one on my radar that I'll probably be playing soon.
Okay, cool. And then I was going to ask what you've been up to, but you kind of mentioned a game you were playing, so that's a perfect transition.
Well, actually, first I want to get the more boring stuff out of the way. I've been preparing to take my driving test next month, which I am not looking forward to. I dread the idea of driving, especially after watching Gretzko Season 3, but... yeah.
Well, how about anything on the gaming front?
So, back to the fun stuff. The game you were asking about, it is, of course, My Hero One's Justice 2.
I figured.
Yeah.
Oh... And, you know, I'm still playing Shovel Knight. I have to be honest, my favorite mode has definitely been Spectre of Torment. It's really, really...
Yeah.
I love how they remix the levels and even the boss fights, and I've actually gotten the hang of the platforming mechanics quite well compared to Plague Knight, which I did beat. But...
Played all of the scenarios yet, or you're working your way?
I've tried King of Cards. I do like it, but yes, I'm trying to beat all the stories in order. I beat the main story, I beat Plague of Shadows, and I'm just about over halfway done with Spectre of Torment. So
I forget the name of the card game in King of Cards. Is that what it's called? King of Cards?
The story, yeah.
Yeah. I forget the name of the card game itself, but I remember it being like addicting. Like I got really into it.
Oh no. That's bad news.
I still need to go back. I have not touched Shovel Knight in years, man. I finished the main story for my channel and just have not touched it since. I did play the Battletoads DLC on my own time, but I haven't touched it. Yeah.
I forgot that Kratos and Battletoads were there, but I never encountered them.
Yep, there is
their completion locked.
I had to look it up. I think it's once you meet the main story. I'm pretty sure either that or it's you have to beat. I think it is you meet the main story. But I'm pretty sure it's either that or you beat the world that their secret door is located at. I had to look it up on a guide to know where it was at. But yeah, it was fun. I liked it. I'm not familiar with the Battletoads except for just seeing them. But yeah, it was cool. I liked it. I would love to play the Xbox version just to battle Kratos. That would be sick. But
yeah. Wasn't there supposed to be like 2 or 3 new Shovel Knight games? And I don't know if the pandemic slowed it down or...
It was the Puzzle Pocket game one.
Yep.
Did it ever come out?
No, it's coming out in December. Well, apparently it was on mobile, I think, but...
Okay.
It looks like a mobile game at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's, I think, at least 2 Shovel Knight game spin-offs coming out. Which has me thinking...
Shovel Knight Showdown, too, so...
Yeah.
Well, Showdown is part of Treasure Trove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which has me, like... If they come out on Switch, and I get it on Switch, the first Shovel Knight game I have on 3DS, and so my OCD is going to want me to get it on Switch so that they line up nicely. And it's like, well, am I really just going to get it just to line it up? I'm not really going to play Shovel Knight again. I have too many games to play.
I feel that.
And then I think about other games. Like, it's easier for me to play something on the Switch than it is on console because I could play it in bed as opposed to sitting on the couch where the TV is. And I'm thinking about a game like Yooka-Laylee where I already played and beat it on the PS4, and now I'm considering, like, if more games come out. I know they had the spin-off that was also on the PS4 and on the Switch, and I feel like I want to play that game. I hear it's a really good platformer, but do I want to play it on the PS4 or on the Switch? And if I get it on the Switch, I'm gonna feel like I have to get Yooka-Laylee on the Switch just to line it up. I got that like mentality of, oh, these don't line up. It looks horrible. So I kind of wish I was one of those people who didn't care about that, like normal people. But yeah, I'm always like, this has to line up, otherwise I need to get the one that lines up. And I already have the game and played it and beat it. Why should I buy it again?
Yeah.
And if I buy it, it would be just to line it up. I would not be playing it again, most likely. Why am I like that? Anyway,
Why are you like that,
you
Andrew?
mentioned. Why am I like that? Nid, you mentioned My Hero One's Justice. Have you been playing it anymore?
I'm gonna 100% that game up and down, left and right, just like Kirby Star Allies. And that game took me almost over 100. That game took me over 100 hours to do.
Wow.
And I recently bought the DLC too. And apparently, in your face, Smash. Until next year, there's gonna be a second DLC pass.
Hey.
Nice. Too bad Smash DLC is ending, man.
Dude, yeah.
It wasn't good anyway.
It's hard to believe it's almost 3 years since that game's came out.
It's already like winded down for me.
And then Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is coming out too.
Unless the last character.
We can talk about that too. I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Yeah, unless the last character is like super hype, like someone like Sora, or really practically rule breaking, then like I'm kind of done, you know?
Yeah.
Now if they had a
for
third,
a long time.
if they had a third fighter pass though, I would feel the hype rising again. But I don't know, they just seem adamant about not wanting money, so.
If they did make a third Fighters Pass, I'd be pissed off because it'd be for a game that I hate.
Well, it's
The only thing I'd benefit for that is more Amiibo, because I do still want to complete the collection.
True.
I've come too far to stop, so I
That's
am
how
going
I
to finish
feel.
what I started.
I am trying to collect all the Smash Amiibo, and I've
I
almost.
recently, the last one I got was Simon Belmont a few weeks ago. So.
I recently picked up Ice Climbers and Inkling, and
yes.
the last ones I need are, I think maybe 3 from the roster that's not DLC. So I think it's like it might be Young Link and I don't know, 1 or 2 others, maybe Ken and one other character, and then I have the DLC. It's just that with this plastic shortage going on, there's no Amiibos in stores anymore, so I can't.
Shortage.
Apparently, there was a plastic shortage going on, which is why Amiibo have been harder to find in stores. So like stores aren't really carrying them anymore. So I used to pop into a store.
I don't have his Joker, which is frustrating because he's so expensive now, and I'm not so sure about spending $60 on a character that I don't like.
Yeah, I don't really care too much for him, but to complete the collection, I'd be like, all right, fine. But I'm not really willing to shell out $60 right now. Maybe down the line. But I'm also kind of riding the hope that they'll all eventually get reprinted, just like they did with the original batch of Smash Amiibo. Yep. But on the flip side, I'm wondering, Nintendo seems like they're kind of done with Amiibo, and they're really just finishing up the Smash ones. So maybe they won't be reprinting them. So I really, it's basically a gamble of shell out the money now before it gets more expensive, or shell out the money now and then it gets cheaper.
Yep.
So. Well, they re-released Bowser and Bowser Jr. for Bowser's Fury this year, so you never know.
Okay.
I mean, I got both of them back in their prime, so that didn't affect me. But
the same kind of Amiibo, like the same.
The Smash one, the one from Smash 4. They both got re-released for Bowser's Fury. They just had the new packaging.
Oh, very nice. Yep. Yeah, so I'm planning on one day having a game room and the Smash Amiibo I want to line up on a shelf or a display case or something. But I want to display that complete Smash Amiibo collection. So right now there's like 80-something Amiibo in a plastic bag somewhere in my parents' house.
Funny. That's literally the situation with... Okay, I actually have a space where I can display the whole Smash collection. At one point I actually did, but since...
Well, I did until I ran out of room.
Well, yeah, but since before Banjo, Terry, and Byleth came out, I've kind of kept all my Amiibo in my drawer, and I've decided that I'm not going to take them back out again until the collection is complete, so... Yeah.
Oh, so I'm actually missing 4 Amiibo before the DLC. It's Ken, Daisy, Young Link, and Richter. I was looking in my notes.
Okay.
So those are the
I'm missing all of those characters except for Daisy. I got Daisy.
Nice.
Mhm.
And then I
So,
need,
those characters and
Joker, Hero, Banjo-Kazooie, all those others. You regardless if you love or hate Smash, at least it forces more Smash Amiibo to come out, and if there's a character that has no merchandise or rare merchandise, it gives you a shot to get that. Like in the case of Banjo and Kazooie, for example, who also recently had a ton of merch come out, but he's one of those legacy, I say legacy, but whatever you want to call him, he's one of those like old characters that doesn't get as much merch or hasn't for a while.
Yep.
So the Amiibo is like, oh, here's a cool little figure of Banjo that's pretty accurate to how he's supposed to look. Because a lot of figures have their own style to them. Like Pops, for example, they have that Pop style. So having something accurate to the game is pretty cool. And they're typically cheap, if you find them in the store.
Yeah.
So,
I was so fortunate to pre-order mine at Games. Well, actually, to me, the rarest from that wave is Terry, because I haven't seen him ever in the store, and I have never seen him online except for the time I pre-ordered him.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known that, because I think I saw Terry in my local GameStop, and I think there was at least 2 or 3. And I wish I'd known that, because it's like, dude, I would have mailed that to you. So I never know which
keep an
ones
eye out for
have
those.
and don't have. So
well, now you know which ones. For me, I'll send you a picture of my list. And
if I see a Terry, I got you. I got you, Nit.
Although you'd have to double check to make sure there's no defects or broken parts.
Oh
or anything.
yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I would totally pay you for that and the shipping, and throw a few bucks your way for going out of the way. I would totally do
wow.
that. Because the alternative is paying 2 or 3 times as much on eBay.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or Amazon even.
So I haven't checked to see what like the newer Amiibo prices are secondhand. I know Banjo is probably up there, so I'm glad you got them from GameStop. I got them from Best Buy, and I was so afraid because GameStop, I think, it sold out by the time I got to them, but Best Buy I was able to get them, and I was like, man, I hope I'm able to get them. And sure enough, he showed up on my doorstep about a week later. So
I think there's, I think the prices might vary based on the character. So for example, Ice Climbers and Inkling, I got on eBay for like I tend to filter eBay results by lowest price plus shipping, and buy it now. This way I can look at like the cheapest options, and so it's about $25-$30 for them each, and I was like, all right, that's not terrible, but I'm really not going to go much past that. But I would imagine other characters that are very popular might be more expensive.
Yeah. Yep.
But oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say Ice Climbers is one I picked up too, because I love them, and dude, their Amiibo. I have to say, like, the older waves of Amiibo look really good, but these new ones, man, they're just a step above. The detail, like especially with Ice Climbers, you see the snow on their boots, you see the wood grain in their hammers. It's just such a really cool figure. It's just it's worth the extra $3, man. It just
and as somebody who doesn't really, I don't collect all Amiibo. I'm just collecting the Smash ones. So
me too. You are not the only one. Don't worry.
So
though I do have some Kirby ones.
Yeah. So from somebody someone like me who doesn't get every who doesn't get every Amiibo, but only the Smash ones. I hope they don't stop making Amiibos in general, just because every once in a while there'll be a character that's like, oh, that's a cool figure, oh, that's a cool figure.
Yep.
But then I feel the pain for the people who have committed to buying all Amiibo from the beginning and probably wanted to stop, because I'm feeling that pain from the Smash ones. I'm like, I can't really stop. I mean, I can, but the whole purpose of getting all the Smash Amiibo was I want to have these the whole collection to display one day.
Why stop when you come so far?
Yeah, and then there's one person who I met in DMs who has a Shantae collection, who has everything Shantae related, and the latest all the merch that they've been putting out with like the skate deck and all this stuff, like he's like, I'm really feeling my wallet's really feeling the pain. or whatever.
Beyond the Pain. I wonder if that'll be the episode title.
Speaking of which, I just saw WayForward. Or Limited Run, one or the other, announced that the third PS5 Shantae.
I saw that.
Release is coming out August 20th. So I'm trying to get all those Shantae PS5 games. So they come with the acrylics, and I'm also waiting for that statue that the acrylics will go into the statue. I'm like, this is probably the, I'm hoping it's going to be a really nice statue because I'm kind of committing to it. Like, I'm going to get the games and the statue, and it's probably all the Shantae merch I'm going to get, unless something random comes on here and there. I'm still waiting on that Totaku. And if I think
Totaku actually shut down. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably from the plastic shortage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think part of it was from the COVID lockdowns and stuff, but I think they are kind of either bankrupt or in limbo or whatever right now because they haven't posted on social media in a hot minute.
Right,
like pretty much since they announced that Shantae Amiibo.
Damn it! Right before Shantae Amiibo, not Amiibo, Totaku. We couldn't at least get the Shantae Totaku before they closed down, right?
Yeah,
that's really sad. But anyway, we got some other stuff to cover, and we got about 40 minutes left. So, just real quick, what I've been up to, I finished Xenoblade Chronicles finally. I know the last couple episodes I was talking about here and there. Hard to really sit down and play because it's a long game, and I loved it. It's actually, story-wise, it's one of my favorite games now. Gameplay-wise, it's good, but I was getting a little burnt out from how long it took to get things done with all the side quests or some grinding here and there. And I know that's the nature of RPGs, so I can't really hold that against it. But, putting that aside, the game was phenomenal. Like, that story, they hit you with some crazy twists near the end, and I was just like, are you serious? What? Really? So, that is one of my new favorite series. Initially, I was thinking, before playing Xenoblade 2, I'm going to take a break. I'll play Skyward Sword or something, because I never played Skyward Sword, and I have it for Switch. But by the end, once I beat Xenoblade 1, I was like, you know what, I gotta play 2 now. So I started 2 last night. I've only got it like an hour or so in. I just met Pyra, and she joined me, and that's where I stopped.
Cool.
So, but yeah, there's a couple of things. Mainly, we got a Pokemon Presents in 2 days, I think. So I figured that's something.
Actually tomorrow now.
No, it's the 18th, right?
Tomorrow's the 18th.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Wow.
I find it so strange that ever since the Diamond and Pearl remakes were announced, there hasn't been a single new piece of information. Like, they weren't even at E3. Don't you think that's rather sus?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was going to actually, instead of tonight, I was considering recording tomorrow. And I'm glad I didn't, because I would have totally missed it. I was thinking for some reason, I had even at work today, I had a meeting, and I said, "Happy Monday, guys," and they're like, "It's Tuesday." I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Tuesday!" So I've just been off like by a day somehow. That's another example of how I've somehow been off by a day. I'm like, yeah, it's in 2 days. No, it's a day. Isn't it the 18th? Yeah, today's the 17th. Really? So I'm glad I'm recording tonight now, because I wanted to discuss the presents beforehand. So does anybody have any predictions or hopes or something that their dynasty? I'm sure anybody who might have listened to the last episode or so knows what I'm looking for, and that's freaking Mythical Pixie. But this gen has no Mythical Pixie, and we need Mythical Pixie for Gen 8.
Well, the brutal fact is that I've seen a video essay about the downfall of Pokemon, and the Diamond and Pearl remakes aren't looking like Gen 8 games, as he said.
No, it seems like Legends Arceus is going to be the savior of going forward. Although I am excited for Diamond and Pearl remakes, because I want to jump into that chibi style again. I mean, I know people are hating on it. I'm not really for it either, but because you think of something like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where they had more realistic, not realistic, but you know,
it was like
Pokemon,
it was like 50-50.
Yeah.
And realistic.
So, on one hand, there's the argument of we're making it chibi to reflect the original sprites, and on the other hand, you have a game like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire who's like, well, we just recreated it in the Pokemon style itself. So I can see both sides of the argument, or both sides of the coin, both arguments, whatever the saying is. But I'm just kind of like putting that out of my head and saying to myself, I want to enjoy another Pokemon game. And since Sword and Shield was meh,
mediocre,
here's a chance to play like a decent Pokemon game. And Diamond and Pearl wasn't a favorite of mine, but I liked it more than Sword and Shield. So,
I never played Diamond and Pearl, so this is my moment.
Okay. Yeah.
The one complaint about
my first
the original
Pokemon game was well, technically it was Sapphire, but it wasn't mine. It was the Bus Matrons, and then my true first Pokemon game was Black and White, and the rest is history.
Black and White Gen 5 was actually. So like Gold and Silver was my first one and probably my favorite, but Black and White is right under there because I love the story in that game.
Yeah, that definitely, and I hate it because it's like that was the one game that was like the Pokemon game that everybody seemed to be asking for. It's like brand new region with you're starting completely from scratch. You don't recognize any of the Pokemon, and none of the Pokemon from prior generations are available until you beat the game. Yeah. It's a new evil team that actually is kind of sinister.
That's actually evil?
Yeah. And their leader, it's almost like PETA. Like, it's like, they seem to be acting for good, but they're crazy.
Yeah.
And so, Getsus is the psychopath, and then he manipulates his adopted son, and then it's this whole thing, and he's cool, and the story's just, like, super cool and complex.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Black and White 2, Getsus legit tries to kill you with Kyurem, and it's just, it was such a cool change of pace from every other Pokemon game. To me, I love starting out.
Really scary too.
I don't remember if it was one of the easy or difficult Pokemon games. I don't remember at which point they started becoming easy. It was hard? Okay. Because I was gonna say people complain about how easy Pokemon games are now, and yeah, that's one of my complaints too. However, I think story's more important, because if I have to play something that's like super easy, at least it's not at least it wouldn't be a slog in terms of story. Like, all right, this is easy, but at least I want to know what happens next. Whereas Sword and Shield was, this is too easy, and I also don't really care what happens next.
Yeah, because you're not involved in half of the stuff that goes on in the story. You're just told, oh, you stupid child, go away while the big boys and big girls handle this. So go play your gym battle, and we'll take care of this, you stupid child. And it just, it's very insulting, and very just blah.
Yeah.
Very
See, like, I'm torn here, because I want to talk about the percents, but at the same time, I like talking about, you know, other Pokemon stuff as well. So, I mean, to get back to the subject of the presents, what else are you looking forward to or hoping for? Because we all know, Alpha, that Sword and Shield killed you. So.
Yeah, honestly, my hopes for Brilliant Diamond and Shining... What is it? Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl?
Shining Pearl.
Yeah. My hopes for them are so low. I just kid you not. Like, Sword and Shield was like the wake-up call for me as a Pokemon fan. It was like, wow, we have been just thrown to the wayside for the last couple generations, haven't we? And what is it about
Diamond?
To me, Sun and Moon were the last good Pokemon games.
Yes, I agree. I loved Sun and Moon. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon could have been a lot better. The post-game was a lot better than Sun and Moon, but the story was literally just the same, but not as good, with a little bit of extra stuff.
Yeah,
to me, I like Sun and Moon's story better. Yeah, the Ultra Recon Squad just...
Some of the challenges changed, but...
Yeah.
Honestly, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon should have just been DLC.
I agree.
I agree.
Should have just been an attachment. Yep.
I remember at the time playing Sun and Moon, I was a little underwhelmed. By the end of it, I was like, all right, that was a fun experience. And after Sword and Shield, I was like, wow, Sun and Moon was really good. Like, every Pokemon game makes you appreciate the previous one more, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that's kind of saying something.
And it's
but what is it about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that has you worried?
To me, it's just like, okay, we're at the point now since Sun and Moon and now Sword and Shield where we have like full-on models for all the characters. And I understand it's like, oh, it's nostalgic. Oh, let's go back to the chibi, but it just does not look the same when it's not pixelated. And my first game was Fire Red. I love Fire Red, and I love the pixel art in that. But I love that style of chibi pixel avatars. But it's for a Game Boy game. Like, it's nostalgic, and I like it, but I don't want that in a Switch title. I don't want that in HD 3D. I like it pixel graphics like that. I don't want a tiny baby chibi Dawn running around when she should be a fully grown Dawn.
Fully grown? Isn't she like 13?
Well, like fully modeled.
I know
like
what you mean.
Human sized, yeah.
I know what you mean.
To me, it's just too faithful of a remake. It's almost like Link's Awakening, but even lazier. At least Link's Awakening was kind of stylized. This literally just looks like an HD revamp of the exact layout. Everything. The flowers, the trees. And it's not even subtle. Like, it's literally just little squares of flowers. It's the most lazy looking thing in Pokemon right now. And I hate it because it's like you could have made this like nice flowing thing.
That's the worst thing they could have done after Sword and Shield was make something look even worse. Yeah. It's like, oh, you didn't like the graphics in Sword and Shield? Oh, you're gonna love the graphics in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Yep, and it's too faithful. Like, it looks too much like Diamond and Pearl. And like, at least Sword and Shield did give us like these brawling expanses where, yeah, it didn't have the greatest texture. The trees looked bad, the grass and the ground looked rough, and the textures weren't all that great, but at least it was this nice big open environment. Kind of. It was still kind of linear. But the wild area, and I still need to play the DLC, so I can't really say anything about that yet, but I need to. But it just, you turn it around to go on the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and it just, I don't know. It's just, it's not doing it for me. Like, when the intro first started, I was like, oh yeah, we got Diamond and Pearl, and then I saw it was chibi-fied, and I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, not Shining, Legends Arceus, I am more hopeful for, but I'm also keeping my expectations extremely low because that game footage, not final argument, didn't fly for Sword and Shield upon release because it looked the exact same. So I'm very, very
and apparently some of the Pokemon's frame rate was terrible.
Yeah, Chingling literally looked like 3 FPS. Chingling, like. Chingling should not be floating that high in the air. Like, I get it levitates, but my gosh, it's not even bouncing that high. It's just literally like 10 feet off the ground, floating in the middle of the air. Like,
what is this, Sword and Shield? You're referring to, or
Legends Arceus?
Legends Arceus. Yeah, the trailer showed some of the Pokemon, and Chingling had a frame rate of about 3. It was rough.
Now, is that a result of the Switch's limitations, or
come on, we have games like Super Mario Odyssey running at 60 FPS. That's not an excuse.
I guess you're right. Yep. Who's making Legends? Is it the main Pokemon team, or
as I know, it's Game Freak.
Yeah.
Now,
because
Ilka is doing BDSP. What is Ilta? They did like Home. They worked on Home, so I guess that's enough claim to fame to hit a Pokemon game, I guess.
Well, I heard that Pokemon Home has really terrible menu management. Like, even worse than Bang. I don't know, because I never used it. I will probably keep my Pokemon safe in my 3DS till the end of time, honestly.
Well, eventually that's gonna... The memory is gonna die out.
What are you talking about?
I mean, the 3DS, they're not saved to a cloud, so eventually the cartridge...
Well,
the
I still have my... Oh, no.
What?
Wait, what are you implying?
I'm saying the carts, all games, that the cartridges, eventually the battery for the memory is going to die out after so many years. So eventually you'll lose them. Like, if you go back and try to play... like in my case, like years ago, I tried to go back and play Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the Sega Genesis, and the file save feature is just like it won't save anything because it's just eventually the batteries for the memory die out.
Oh no!
So if you really want to save them forever, you're gonna have to put them to the cloud eventually.
Oh.
Am I wrong, or is just something wrong with my Sega Genesis copy of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or
which it may just be because it's an older game system. I'm sure that the memory has gotten better over time, but that's with every system. Eventually, it's going to go kaput, and you're going to have to,
hope that the cloud stays up forever.
Well, I have an interesting story where I had Alpha Sapphire in my pants, and I forgot to take it out when I put it in the washing machine.
Sounds so weird.
I know.
You're in your pocket.
Yeah, in my pocket. Anyway, I forgot to take it out when putting it in the wash, and I was like, "Oh no! I forgot to take it out! Oh, my Pokemon will get lost!" And then, oh my gosh, by some heavenly miracle, when the washer was done and I put it in my 3DS, it worked perfectly fine.
Kyogre was protecting your game.
I probably would have quit Pokemon after that if I lost everything. You have no idea how. In terms of every single game I played, I probably spent 2,000 or so hours or more.
Oh yeah.
I played Black and White and X and Y a lot.
If that had happened and you lost that data, what would you have hated more, Pokemon or Smash Ultimate?
Smash Ultimate.
Okay.
I hate Pokemon. I just would have lost so much that I wouldn't have the motivation
I feel that
to
pain.
continue it.
I went through that similarly when playing my PS3. Something happened. I don't know what it was, but something happened where it just glitched, turned off, or I couldn't restart it, and then all the data got corrupted, and I lost all my game data on the PS3.
Gosh.
Oh.
And that included a platinumed Demon Souls and a platinumed Dark Souls.
Ooh, and those are not easy to get back either.
No.
Ooh.
Maybe this is why Switch game cartridges don't have the data on them.
Yeah. Although, the discs for PS3 don't have the save data on them. It's in the system. But after that, I'm like, yep, back up everything in the cloud. Back up everything in the cloud. So.
Oh.
But that really sucked because I put a lot of time and effort into that, and I had, strong characters, and even Resident Evil 5, I was big into the Mercenaries minigame. So Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, I had like S and double S ranks with all these characters. I had like all the weapons in the main games and the infinite ammo for weapons. I spent a lot of time because I was really, really into Resident Evil. Now I'm still really into Resident Evil, but at the time, those games, I played the crap out of them, and I lost all that. That was very disheartening. So, anything else in the presents you guys are hoping for? Or you think they'll make any new game announcements, or maybe announce?
I hope they don't announce any new games.
Why would they announce a new game? We already have 2 more coming out within the year and next year. It'd be really dumb to announce a new one.
Let me reword that. Are you hoping they'll announce a good game?
I just want them to announce some good footage for this game because I want them to give me hope that Arceus and BDSP are not going to suck because I just want some renewed hope in these games.
Now, did they say it's going to be 25 minutes or 45 minutes?
28.
Yeah, okay. Well, we know the first 25 minutes is going to be dedicated to Guardians of the Galaxy, so.
Oh, God.
Did anybody get that joke?
The one thing that I was looking forward to from that Switch Direct, and it ended up being disappointing because they didn't even mention it would be on the cloud.
I feel like explaining the joke kills it. But basically, I was making a reference to how Square Enix, like half their Direct was dedicated to Guardians of the Galaxy for E3, and people were just like over it, and it just kept going.
This was the worst E3 of all time, hands down.
It was pretty rough, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I only watched the Nintendo presentation, but from the other stuff I've heard, everybody else kind of botched it. Nintendo's
Even the
still
Nintendo. Yeah, the Nintendo one was for me.
The Nintendo one was really focused on like more niche series. Like it was really cool to see Advance Wars come back, but a lot of it was just like, oh, that game exists. That's cool that it's coming back.
I think it would have been more interesting if they announced stuff I cared about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like if there had been like a super hype character for Smash,
and I still didn't get it.
What?
Kirby.
I only wanted Kirby news, and I still didn't get it. And it already hurts when your favorite series is one that isn't talked about as much as other Nintendo mascots anyway.
I would take the crappiest direct if they announced a re-release of Mischief Makers from N64.
Hey.
But that was that wasn't even Nintendo. I think they were just the publisher. That would be treasure.
Hey, I mean, if NSO ever adds N64 games, that very well may be one of them.
That would be amazing.
Nintendo's
that would be
been
fantastic.
posting some rather obscure games to the SNES.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That would be amazing if that somehow resulted in Mischief Makers Rebirth, where people were playing it on an N64 on the Switch, and Treasure's like, oh, people are actually playing this. You know, maybe we can make. I would take a 100% port because that's how great it was. But
what type of game was it?
I'm gonna say a platformer. Now, if they still have the original files or whatnot, the game looks like it was like the sprites look like they were attempts at 3D models, or they had 3D models, but it was rezzed down for the N64. That's what it seems like. So I'm wondering if they still have all that stuff and they made it. They just took that and they put it on the Switch. If it would look prettier, like actually have 3D models instead of like sprite-like 3D models.
Okay.
What would make me happy, like super duper, aside from just porting it, like if they could, I would love to see either hand drawn or just completely like HD models of everything. You know, just pretty it up. The way the game was perfect. Just pretty it up. Except for one gold gem that was practically impossible to get for anybody who is familiar with it. But I mean, that game was amazing. I need that to turn into a series, and then I need Marina Light Years and Smash. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, What?
I digress, senor.
Indeed. So, anything else coming out you guys looking forward to, or
there's a few. Unfortunately, none of them Nintendo related. But
okay, well, go ahead.
Well, if I can even remember them. Okay, look. Either way you look at it, I am still getting Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl because I never played Gen 4 before, so this is my chance.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a lot cheaper than trying to get one of those cartridges.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially for a system. I still play my DS from time to time, but I'm invested on my Switch.
And honestly, Nit, that's the best way to go. Not just because of the price, but I will say the biggest downfall of the Gen 4 games is how horribly slow some of the animations, and especially like, have you ever look up when you guys are done with this? Or you guys watching, or you both? Watch the video of Blissy's HP going down in Diamond and Pearl.
Oh,
I know,
dude, it takes like
Blissey.
2.5 minutes.
Oh, not Blissey!
It's a level 100 Heracross against a level 100 Blissey using close combat,
God,
and it literally is like almost 2 minutes long.
Like a deflating balloon?
Yes.
Oh, no!
It takes so long for the
until
HP to dwindle down.
Soft oil.
Yes. Lives with 1 HP with a focus ash, and it's like uses a softball and it goes right back up. That would have been hilarious. I would have been hilarious.
Anyway, so yeah, there's that, and there's Nick All-Star Brawl.
Yeah.
Hot Wheels is getting a new game, so I haven't played a Hot Wheels game since World Race back when I was in 2nd grade, and I also had it on the PS2 back then. There's Lego Marvel Superheroes is finally coming to Switch, so that's awesome.
Ooh, cool.
And I might get Advance Wars, but I'll need a veteran to tell me more about it.
Yeah, I honestly intended to pick it up.
And after how soul crushingly disappointed I was with Ori, I've been a little bit more careful with what new games I get into, thinking I'll like them.
What is that noise? Are you rolling a pencil along the desk?
No, that's my fan, probably.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But anyway, it still pains my heart to this day that I don't like Ori.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I hate when there's like a game you really want to like, and when you play it, you're just a bit disappointed.
That's me with the first Crash Bandicoot game.
I
hate it, but I love the characters. I hate it. It's so hard. Okay.
About 2 and 3.
Exactly me. I love the little light monkey, but at the same time, I want to Homer Simpson strangle him for how hard he is. Why are you little? In fact, that's why I want to get 2 copies of his plushie, one to keep and one to choke.
That's my stress doll, Ori.
Yeah, exactly. And funnily enough, I had a few plushies that I used as stress dolls. Like, for a time, I actually used Simba, and I actually sent Chris a picture of it one time, and he made a really dark. He made a really dark joke.
I forget what it was, but
you made a joke about Mufasa.
Oh yeah.
What was the joke?
God have mercy, that was dark.
What was the joke?
I think he said he looks more like his dad now.
That's right. It's been so long since we had that chat. I was like, oh my gosh, what was the joke? Like father, like son. That's what it was.
Yeah. It is still in
God.
good condition, but it's just a little bit.
But yeah, to answer your question, Drew, I like the second one a lot more from what I've played of it. I've only played like a third or a quarter of it, but that's another game I want to pick up. There's so many to play, dude. It's just Dragon Quest 11, that Ori, just so many. But yeah. So, do you guys want to talk about Nick All-Star Brawl?
Yes.
Yes. I do.
Forgetting that I wanted to talk about that, and then I was just like, what was that game we were going to talk about? So
All-Star Brawl.
I just think it's funny how this comes out right as Smash is ending. So now we get to transfer our hype for new characters to a whole new game.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you think it was intentional?
Honestly, probably so, especially with the people working on it, Ludosity, having a Smash clone themselves. So, yeah, I think it was probably at least partially intentional. And of course, Nickelodeon just banking on the success of Smash by using their own IP.
Well, did you hear about how
a game like this is the only way for Nickelodeon to give a crap about their old characters? That's not SpongeBob.
True.
I was gonna say, did you guys hear about how the developers of the Nickelodeon? I keep wanting to mix up Nickelodeon and Nintendo, so I keep. Because they both start with the N.
That's true.
Yeah, Nicktendo and Nintelodeon. Nintelodeon.
I'm just trying to predict this episode's title now at this point.
You can't predict it. It just...
Yeah.
A lot of times I'm like... Yeah, a lot of times I'm like, that's going to be the title. And then I listen to the episode again. I'm like, no, this one sounds like a better title. But anyway, so... apparently, Nickelodeon was very adamant about not using old characters. The developers were pretty much fighting to be like, no, we have to use these characters. No, we have to use these characters.
And
Nickelodeon didn't want to use Nigel Thornberry, Powdered Toast, characters like that. I think they were very much wanted to use characters from cartoons now that they have.
Yeah,
and
the
somehow
relevant hit cartoons.
They only have 2 cartoons.
Yeah, somehow they caved in, and the developers got, they pitched these characters, and Nickelodeon, I guess, caved in, and apparently, and I'm not surprised that that's why people are really hyped for this game. It's the characters,
Oh yeah.
How can you not see that? That kind of speaks volumes about big companies like Nickelodeon. How do you not realize that your old characters sell Like, just because they're not on TV anymore doesn't mean they didn't exist at one point.
And that's what kills me about companies too. Yeah.
What?
Or that they're not popular.
Right, but I mean, all these companies are very much like, oh, let's, pick up on the latest trend. We got to get on the latest trend. That they don't realize that they're sitting on a whole slew of, like, a whole large chunk of things that made money in the past that they could bank on now. Like, people who were kids then are adults now. Like, I spend money to play as Powder Toast Man.
Yeah, that was the weirdest character they announced yet.
I thought he was like a totally original character. I didn't even, because I never watched Ren and Stimpy, so I didn't know he was from that. It's like, who is this dude? But yeah, it was cool to see a lot of old characters.
That's great to have old characters that kids nowadays don't know, because it incentivizes them to check it out.
Ren and Stimpy isn't exactly a kid-friendly show.
Yeah,
but at least the original season or so was like, kids could watch it, I suppose. They wouldn't really pass TV standards now, but I mean, you have people who would, if Nickelodeon put these old cartoons on Netflix or something, like All Real Monsters, you'd have kids now be like, oh, I liked old Lena in All-Stars Brawl. I'm going to check out what All Real Monsters is. And bam, you probably just sold something related to All Real Monsters. A kid might be like, oh, I want that box set, I mean,
which I think a lot of that is going to be on Paramount Plus now. I think a lot of the older Nicktoons will be on there. I would hope, because that's
perfect,
old stuff they can put up there now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they rebooted Rugrats. I could see them doing that with old cartoons.
Yeah, and my thing is, I wish that they would quit rebooting stuff and redoing stuff, and that they would just play the original stuff. Because I'm sorry, CGI Rugrats is not the same as the OG Rugrats. It's not. And some things don't need a facelift. And older shows I would love to see more Jimmy Neutron and Danny Phantom in My Life as a Teenage Robot. But
Me too.
I don't want those shows getting ruined and their legacy getting ruined because the new show sucks, like the Powerpuff Girls or the Teen Titans.
I don't know if I said this on the show, but I say this all the time, that the Powerpuff Girls reboot killed the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, absolutely.
And my proof is that, or specifically what I mean is, shortly before the reboot came out, Cartoon Network was pushing Powerpuff Girls. Like, they were bringing it back. Like, they were trying to bring back Powerpuff Girls, and what they were doing was they were bringing back the old Powerpuff Girls comics. Like, they had the comics that I think DC made, and then they switched over to IDW. Maybe IDW? Yeah, me too. I wish I read them. So they were
usually Kaboom Studios does on the Cartoon Network comics.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I have the regular ones.
Yeah, I don't know who currently has the rights. It might be IDW, but basically, whoever it was, they were reprinting the old issues in graphic novel format. So I have the first 4 or 5, however many were out, trade paperbacks of the Powerpuff Girls comics, and they rebranded it as Powerpuff Girls Classics, which I was like, oh, that has a nice ring to it. And not only that, but they started a new comic with the classic characters. So it was, I don't even know if it was 10 issues in, and then out of nowhere, Cartoon Network just like pulled the plug on it, apparently, because I spoke to the writer of the comic. I think I was asking him if, like, what happened, or and I don't want to put words in his mouth because I'm trying to remember, and I think he said something along the lines of just like out of nowhere, I don't know if it was Cartoon Network or IDW or whoever that just pulled the plug on it. And I have a theory, so this is not proven. My theory is that they were gearing up for the reboot and didn't want to mix the classic with the reboot to confuse the kids. They wanted to treat it as something new. And so as a result, they canceled the reprints of the old comics. They canceled the new comic. And then the new reboot came out, and it was garbage. So, and after that, they didn't continue the old comics or continue the new comics. So the reboot effectively killed Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they can't treat it as like an alternate universe, like how Marvel. I always use the Marvel and Ultimate Marvel as my example for this. But you had the classic Marvel series comics, and then you have an alternate take on it called Ultimate Marvel. And nowadays they just have various alternate universes. I'm like, how many times has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles been rebooted and like they didn't, I guess, kill the classic ones, you know? Like you probably occasionally see merch for the old ones, but anyway, that's my little rant about how Cartoon Network effectively killed Powerpuff Girls when they rebooted it. So they could have kept it going, and they still, it's never too late to bring it back and be like, yeah, well, we have the original and the reboot. Like, I don't mind that, and I know that's not going to happen. I can hope it does. I have a whole list of things that were canceled or removed, or just in general that I'm be like, I wish this came back, I wish this came back, I wish this came back, and at least I'm getting one of those things, and that's I don't know if it's Paramount or HBO or one of these companies is finally giving us the finale to Metalocalypse, because Adult Swim canceled that, as well as Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Venture Brothers, since those shows were cut short. I say short, but they were canceled and never got their finales, and finally we're getting a finale for Metalocalypse, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
I didn't know any of those shows got cut off.
Yeah, I remember there was a big issue about Venture Bros because that was very popular, and for some reason it just got canceled out of nowhere. And I remember people complaining about that, and Adult Swim, they had no interest in continuing it, or maybe they did and there was a licensing issue. I have no idea what the actual reason is, but Metalocalypse was one of my favorite cartoons on Adult Swim, and it was heading towards the finale, and I think they had one last season in mind, and it got canceled. And so they finally is one of the few cartoons that they're going to make a movie of to finish it off. And I'm like, yes, finally I could see the ending to Metalocalypse that probably would have never seen otherwise.
Yep.
So that's one thing on my huge list of things I wish would come back, and that's actually coming back. So, but yeah, I think that's good for now. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about before we head out? We're about
man. Well,
I guess that means yes, but
yeah, because Chris, before you came back on, Chris is all like, "Oh, don't worry, and then we'll catch up after this episode." And then right now he says, "I gotta leave in 5 minutes." So I was like, "Dang it!"
Yeah. But that's okay. We'll try to have another episode next week. No promises. It's just very difficult for everybody.
Promise me no promises.
Alrighty. So with that in mind, the description under the YouTube video that you are probably watching this / listening to this on will have links to where you can find all our stuff. If just in case nobody wants to look at that, where can we find you guys? Alpha, where can they find you?
You can find me here on YouTube and over on Twitter.
All right, and where can they find you, Nint?
Twitter.
All right, and those links will be in the description again, so if you don't want to look, then you're not going to find it.
Maybe we'll talk about Nick's All-Star Brawl next week.
I'm sorry, say that again?
We can talk about Nick All-Star Brawl next week.
Oh, true.
Yeah, conversation.
Yeah, it was a nice little teaser for that. And then I had.
I heard ice.
What?
I heard ice or something.
Ice for what?
Drinks. I don't know, something.
Oh,
I heard.
There's always a random sound at the end of every
episode.
Yeah,
what the heck? Is that a recurring thing at this point? ASMR.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like pins in a cup too.
It's iced tea, and there's ice in the cup. So
I was trying to drink it. At the end of every episode, there's going to be some ASMR.
I was trying to drink it very quietly and carefully, and I guess it came in. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Probably. Maybe. Hopefully. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
And just trying to
sugar on Chris.
Okay.